Have you ever thought about starting a YouTube channel or becoming an influencer? Well, my name is Ian Gibb, and I am a digital content creator specializing in video production and content marketing. I'm currently attending the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. I drive for Uber, and for the last 2 years I've been working on a vlog out here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm hoping to inspire you guys to enter this beautifully creative and fascinating digital media landscape. So, over the coming weeks, while exploring the San Francisco Bay Area, I'm going to be sharing my experiences, providing insights, and fielding questions from you guys. So my first piece of advice, well, you know what, before we do that, why don't we go for a drive and I will tell you guys how I got started. So let's go. So back in February of 2018, I started driving for Uber, and I kept noticing that I was meeting really interesting people doing interesting things, and that it just kept happening pretty much every day. So I really felt compelled to do something about this and came up with this crazy idea to start a YouTube channel. I have met all kinds of people: doctors, founders, CEOs, engineers, dancers, singers, chefs, bartenders, baristas, models, escorts, Stanford University pediatric stem cell researchers, Bruce Ames, rather. Perhaps you guys remember him from the textbooks that you studied in high school. All kinds of people. I've given over 10,000 rides, and it's been a really, really fascinating experience for me. So this is what inspired me to start this channel. It was the people that kept getting into my car and these conversations that kept happening. So that's my story. Okay, well, we are down here in Chinatown. There's a reason for us being down here. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. But my first piece of advice for you guys, make sure that you're getting into this for the right reasons. Video production is a lot of work. I want to talk to you really quickly about the YouTube Partnership Program. If you're interested in sharing in the ad revenue, you need to become a YouTube partner. You have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time over the course of a year. To achieve this, you would need to produce a 10-minute video every day for a year and convince 66 of your closest friends to watch this video in its entirety. It sounds like a high bar, but with good, compelling content, you're not gonna have any trouble achieving this. I wanted to leave you guys with this interview I did about a year ago with a stuntman. Actually, I picked him up down in Menlo Park. I was driving him to the airport and got talking to him about how he became a stuntman, and the conversation quickly turned to Bruce Lee, who was born here in San Francisco. So I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you're working on. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more stories. How did you get into stunt? How did you get into doing stunts?
I started out just after I'd left school. I moved back to London and started working in a production company.
Okay.
And I was just working as a gopher, a runner.
Yeah.
Assisting everybody. Yeah. And it was a small production company. We used to make TV commercials, driving commercials. A lot of car commercials were made.
Cool.
A lot of beer commercials, funnily enough. Carling Black Label, the classic old Carling commercials. And then one day the precision driver, stunt driver, didn't turn up. Whenever they needed somebody to drive, and do we have anyone who can do this? And I just happened to be able to do it. And it was a pretty easy shot.
Yeah.
From there, then I just started training and working in live shows. Live shows is where you do a lot more work for a lot less money.
Okay.
A lot more often. And then eventually moved to the US. Did various different things, among them stunt work.
Yeah. Well, what was the craziest stunt you've done?
I got married.
Yeah.
Twice.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I fell into that one.
No, they wasn't about crazy. I mean, I think there's always something that it has its element of crazy, whether you're going to hit a car with a motorcycle or you're going to jump from a building. But a lot of times you can get hurt on the small things, like working with an actor who says he has stunt experience and he has martial arts experience, and then you do a fight scene and he punches you like full on in the face, which is not how we do it. Okay?
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you get hurt, he's doing something silly. You know, you're running down the street and there's something happens and you literally trip over a curb and destroy your ankle.
Yeah.
Or what have you, something like that.
Yeah.
Normally the larger stunts are really well thought out, and we've used computers to analyze, and we've seen how the wind is coming from this direction, and you know, a sandbag with my body weight, I threw up the building first so I can see, okay, I know where this is going to land, where's my trajectory with the wind, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
They're well thought out.
I mean, he did a lot of stunts.
He did
what
his
he did.
fights. He had a stunt double.
Oh, he did.
Oh, sure. He had stunt double who did flips for him and things like that.
Yeah.
Worked with him on Enter the Dragon, for example.
Yeah.
But Bruce Lee did all his own fight stuff and choreographed 99% of his fight stuff. The problem that they had with Bruce Lee was that in those days, cameras couldn't keep up with him. They were shooting film and he was so fast that they had to change the way they worked around the cameras because it just couldn't keep up with his speed. And so, but yeah, I mean, he really innovated martial arts in films.
Yeah.
You know, you could look back with anything now. You could look back at anything and say, well, back in those days in the 60s and early 70s, he may not have been the greatest martial artist in the world. I had people who would have just slammed him on the ground and choked him out. But he was an innovator, and then he was one of the first people who came out and said, no, you've got to mix your martial arts. And then he put that on film. And then people started thinking, like, well, Kung Fu isn't the karate isn't the only way, Jiu-Jitsu isn't the only way, we can mix and match. And so that's what he was the grandfather of all of what we do now.
Oh,
in a
really?
way.
Interesting.
Maybe not the best, there are guys who could jump higher or do whatever, right? But he was the guy who started this whole trend towards Kung Fu on film, martial arts on film, all the fun stuff that you see now.
Yeah, this is what he got excited about, doing this for camera.
Yes.
Right? This was his thing. Yeah.
And he was the first Asian lead. He had a hard time doing that in America, so he ended up going back to Hong Kong, do his films, and then Americans started to contact him about, hey, we've seen your films, come back to the US and start filming, which is unfortunately when he died.
Yeah.
But
But he started here in San Francisco, right?
well, he lived in Oakland, lived in San Francisco. So I mean, he was a Bay Area guy.